Hi, and thanks for tuning in to the CBA Podcast, a place where we chat about our own recent achievements in the area of electronics, software and mechanical engineering, and more likely than not, give excuses for not having done anything at all. This time I'll talk about my project for the Maker Faire Dortmund for the last time, and some upcoming events and Maker Fairs in general. So welcome back. It's been a pretty long time, I think 3 weeks since the last episode was recorded, and the reason for that was that I had other stuff to do, and also I was getting ready for the Maker Faire in Dortmund, which was yesterday and Saturday the day before yesterday. So that's all done now. First of all, before I forget, it is possible to send feedback to the podcast in the form of email. So you can find the email address on the podcast.cba.si page, or you can leave a comment on that page itself. I will probably read your feedback out loud if you want, provided it's not 100% profanity or insults. So, a number of episodes before I talked about hot air soldering, and that I didn't really like that because, in my opinion, it was very uncontrolled. So it depends a lot on the operator how well the result turns out. Now, for my Maker Faire project, I had to rework 14 chips on several boards. The DSSOP 16, I think. And for that I use hot air. So normally, if there's enough space on the board, I would use a shaped soldering tip. That is a soldering tip in the form of an IC. So you tin it and then place it over the IC to be removed. And the surface tension of the solder pulls the IC off the board. Now, there wasn't enough room on the board for that. There were components sitting pretty close to the chip, so there was not really an option because you would lift other components as well. So I tried hot air in this case, and to be honest, it worked pretty well. And I think I talked with Piotr about this a little bit, and I think the whole idea is not to go too slow, just go reasonably fast, not ramp it up from 25 to 300 degrees in 1 second, but go reasonably fast. And so it took about 45 minutes, and between 45 minutes and an hour to rework 14 chips, plus place new ones, plus to clean it up. So that's reasonable. So it's getting, I'm changing my mind a little bit with regard to hot air soldering. So who knows? Now, I realize the last couple of episodes have been mostly about me rambling on about my Maker Faire project. Rest assured, the Maker Faire has come and passed. So that was yesterday and the day before. Project was all done, or done enough. And the next week or next time is going to be me talking about other stuff again. So there's that. As you may have heard from previous episodes, my project for the Maker Faire was a homebrew CPU made out of transistors, consisting of a baseboard in which you plug in several modules implementing the digital logic of the CPU. Now, there's a lot of LEDs showing what's going on, and just for display and for fancy pants lighting. What I did the last couple of weeks, and even the day before the Maker Faire, was to finish the baseboard, draw the baseboard, assemble it, receive it from the PCB supplier, and assemble it. Test it a bit. I added some modes where you can have your program free running. You can debug it or step through it using a button, so you would manually clock it. You could vary the execution speed. That's nice to see. Add some example program. It's basically the same as I already had. It was a small Space Invaders-like game. 2-player game where you can shoot one Space Invader. And he also added a failure mode. That means a mode that just paints stuff on the display regardless of whether the digital logic actually works. So it's like a fake mode, but if everything fails, that might still work. So that was a sort of a fallback. I like that. So there were some hacks I did because time was an issue. I was planning on using a serial flash and serial RAM on the baseboard, and indeed these are populated and these are present, but I didn't use them. I just used the flash and the RAM of the microcontroller sitting on the baseboard already, because there was really no time for that. Actually, I used to, when I had to do work in the past, I used to go into a lot of detail first, so depth first approach basically, and recently I tend to do a breadth first, or to get the thing working overall, no matter how crappy. So you always have a chance to reconsider and to go another direction, or to skip some parts altogether. So that suits me much more, and that's quite a big change, and I think it's a logical change. So of course there was some failure with the baseboard. As I said last time already, I screwed up some footprints for the buttons. That's not too bad. The button still fit. It's a little bit, it's not perfect, but it will be better on the next revision then. I forgot the crystal for the microcontroller. That's a bigger issue, but right now I worked around it. It's no big deal. And also I forgot a reset button. That's also no big deal, but there's nothing like a real hardware reset button. It's always nice. For the enclosure, I took a pretty lame approach to use one single sheet of acrylic. I used a laser cut one single piece of acrylic and made 2 bend zones into it, so you can bend it into a Z shape or a Z shape. I used hot air to bend it into shape, then apply hot air so it keeps that shape when it cools off. And it works quite well. I'll include a picture in the show notes for that. Also use light pipes to bend light into a 45-degree angle. That works reasonably well, not perfect. So if the end of the light pipe is pretty close to the LED emitting the light, there's a lot of light bleeding out to nearby light pipes. So we have to tweak that a little bit. But also it works good enough. So yeah. For the Maker Faire itself, I might include a picture, I don't know. There's not that much to see. It's the old version of the CPU sitting on the table, new version of the CPU. People can use a new version, and there's some leaflet about how it works a little bit and what it is. What I have to say about Maker Faires in general, I think I've been to 4 Maker Faires now in the last couple of years, and it's been fun. However, if you're there alone like me, or I had some friends come over this yesterday as well, but still, if you're manning a stand by yourself, there's not much chance to walk around. So, and you're basically standing in the same spot 16 hours in 2 days. So maybe I would go back if I had someone else to man the stand with a project made of 2 people, me and someone else, or maybe 3. That would be nice, but I'm not sure if I would go alone, at least not in the near future. So there's the electromagnetic fields camp coming up in England. That should be fun, and I think I'll focus on that a little bit. I would like to go there very much. So yeah, that was all. Next week I think or next time it'll be talking about other stuff again. Maybe the Commodore cartridge adapter thing I talked about a few episodes ago. So that's just sitting here doing nothing, and should just be finished, because it should be nice to get it working basically. Also, there's the IF Comp, the Interactive Fiction Competition. I probably talked about a few episodes ago as well. That is, write an interactive fiction-based game, or something having to do with interactive fiction, and enter it in an online competition so you can win something and compete. So I was planning on doing a cassette adapter, hardware, software game for that, but we'll see. I don't even know when it is. I think June or July or something like that, and it runs until August or something like that, so we still have some time for that. Also, there is the Retro Challenge, I think, coming up, but to be quite honest, I'm not really sure when that is. Now, at the Maker Faire, my neighbor stand was Mythotronic. There's 2 guys who made a Arduino and a big LED 32x32 matrix game console, sort of, where you can plug an arcade joystick into it, and you could just play a game. And that's pretty neat, so maybe I'll make a game for that. No idea. We'll include a link to that in the show notes as well. Also, very close by, it's actually the upcoming Saturday, it's Monday now. The Home Computer Museum in Helmond in the Netherlands will open, and they still ask for volunteers, so I promised a while ago that I would help, so this Friday I will actually help. So I'll go over there for a day and just do dumb work or electricity work or something like that. Also, probably put a link to the Hackalot Hackspace to be in Eindhoven in the show notes a few episodes ago, and they have a next meeting tomorrow actually. So I should really go there, because else nothing would happen. And I have to force myself to go there even if I don't know anyone there, but first time for everything. So I'll probably go there and report how it went. Then there is the Vintage Computer Festival Europe in München, in Germany. It takes place on the 28th and 29th of April. Now, I was planning on going there and actually manning a stand there with a project, but it was a year ago and I cancelled that because of some reasons, and I might go there, but just as a visitor, just to check it out what it is, and not to be locked in for 2 days, something like that. And that's basically all I have to say. I'll include links to all the stuff I talked about in the show notes so you can check it out for yourself. So that was all for now. For more information, links and previous episodes, visit podcast.cba.si. Stay tuned, thanks for listening, and goodbye.